Let's go. Yeah.
Hello, welcome dreamers and visionaries to the very first installment of the Mindful Minute Dream Series. I'm Alicia, and as I've mentioned, the Dream Series will feature different and very extraordinary visionaries, dreamers, people. They have a vision, they're making it plain, and they're taking action. My very first guest is the lovely Tearah. She is a recent graduate with her master's in counseling, and she has several other accolades that include certifications in school counseling and professional counseling. Right now, she's working as a high school guidance counselor. Thank you so much, Tearah, for being on with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Alicia.
I'm going to get started and just jump right in. What are you doing today for your tomorrow?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. And to be honest, I almost feel like I'm living in my tomorrow because I sort of took a leap of faith and changed directions. So originally, when I graduated from undergrad, I moved out of state. I worked in a corporate job, and I was sort of climbing the ladder, and I thought that I was happy. I thought that that was the life that I really, really wanted. And, I began, as I began to move and advance into other positions within the company, I was doing well, but inside I was incomplete. And I knew that I needed to go back to school. I knew that I needed to completely change courses, and I just really didn't understand how that could come full circle, or how I could explain to my family, like, thanks for helping me get to this point in my life, but now I want to start over. And, it just took me becoming like fed up, not enjoying my day-to-day life and knowing that I wanted to do something differently. And one day I just decided, like, I have to change this. So I moved back home to Michigan, and I started working for a nonprofit just because I knew that I really, really wanted to work in the schools, but I wasn't sure of how comfortable I'd be. And so the job that I had when I moved back allowed me to work directly in the schools and work directly with children and administrators and teachers. And I just knew I was at home, and I knew I really wanted to help people. And with all of that, it took like a pay cut. I had to change so many things about my lifestyle. It was hard. You're just looking at all of my experiences. I'm very proud of the decisions that I've made, and I feel like I'm now like living in my purpose.
Awesome. Thanks, Tearah. I mean, it sounds amazing that you were able to, one, realize your dream, and then also taking a risk, such as moving back home and starting all over in order to get what you want out of life.
Yeah.
With that whole process, I mean, it sounds scary when it comes down to it. Can you talk a little bit about the fear that was associated with that and how you overcame that?
Yes. So the fear was, oh my goodness. I was more than anything, I was just nervous. For one, going back to school and all the work it takes to go back to school, but at the same time, realizing that you're an adult and you still have your adult responsibilities to fulfill. So just because you decide to make a career move, You still have rent to pay, you still have car note to pay, you still have insurance, and you still have to be responsible with your day-to-day, activities and just different things like that. So there were times when I was just like, I don't know that I can do this. I questioned myself so many times. And for me, it was a lot of what ifs. Like, what if I would have stayed and just, made it work? Or what if, this doesn't work out? And one day I just had to come to the conclusion of, as long as well, for me, I'm more of like a spiritual person. And, it just took me like going to a different level in my spirituality and just like trusting God. Like, this is what you're meant to do. And what's meant to be will be. And I just felt like he wasn't like leading me in the wrong direction. And I just had to keep pushing.
Is there anything you would do differently if you had the opportunity to do it again?
I think I would have done it sooner. I wouldn't have questioned myself as much, and I would have stepped out sooner, because ultimately I was able to, complete the task at hand. And, I just should have believed in myself a little bit. So if I could just talk to my younger self, I would just say, go for it. Don't question everything, and don't be so afraid. Just take a leap of faith. Just do it. And another thing I could say is, like, don't compare yourself to others, because you don't understand another person's journey. It could look like their life is easier. It could look like they have it made, but you need to focus on yourself. And I can say in the beginning that a few of the reasons why I was a little hesitant, because, I was sort of comparing myself to my friends, and we were all like starting our first like big job together, trying to become like vested. And that's not the path I was supposed to be on. And you just have to just know and be true to yourself, because if you spend your time trying to follow others, or just pay attention to what they're doing, again, you could be missing a big opportunity where you're supposed to be intervening on someone else's life or making a huge impact on your own. So it's important to know your journey and follow, whatever your God-given purpose is.
So true. Well, that is my time, Tearah. Again, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your story.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned, everyone. Next week, we'll be having a brand new guest. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. Until next time, what will you do today for your tomorrow? See you next week.